If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know I'm not a big shopper, especially while traveling. So I didn't come here for that. But Maciejówka is on my way to somewhere else that I want to show you. And we're almost there. I've come to the largest and oldest indoor market in Budapest, and by the estimation of many people, the loveliest in all of Europe. This is Great Market Hall, or as it's also called, Central Market Hall. From the moment it was completed in 1897, this building has been an architectural wonder. 3 levels, 2 of them above ground, spectacularly lit shafts of light that come in through the high glass that's all around. A very relaxed and easy place. As you can see around me, the ground floor is filled with fruits, vegetables, spices. There are food stalls on the second floor, along with souvenir shops.
Engem nagyon ritkán tudnak felidegesíteni és kiakasztani, de most nagyon sikerült.
Because this place is geared toward tourists, the prices aren't nearly as attractive as they would be at some other places in Budapest. But nonetheless, it's well worth coming here. In fact, it's almost a must-do if you're in Budapest, to come examine this building with its wonderful old architecture.
It's also a place to grab a sandwich or a complete meal from eateries on the second floor.
I'm here in the early afternoon. People say that if you really want to see the place at maximum buzz, the time to come is early in the morning. That's when many locals come out to do their daily or weekly shopping. All in all, I would say there are quite a few people here. I've come to one of the most iconic places in Budapest for Hungarians, and that's Heroes Square, which sits at the entrance of City Park, one of the world's oldest, largest, and grandest municipal parks. The sculpted artwork you see sprawled out here is Millennium Monument, with statues that feature the 7 chieftains of the Magyars, the tribes that came together to form the Hungarian state in the year 896. Hence, a millennium later, this monument was erected in 1896. At the time, Hungary was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and space was reserved on the monument's right side for statues of the Habsburg kings, but you don't see them. That's because the monument was severely damaged during World War II, and the post-war communist regime had no interest in statues of monarchs. As with any great national plaza, this is a place for national celebration. For example, in 1989, when the heroes of the failed 1956 Hungarian Revolution were rehabilitated after the fall of the Soviet Union, 250,000 people gathered here to commemorate the official reburial of the martyrs of that revolution. The best known of these, Imre Nagy, sought refuge at the Serbian embassy in a building that's directly in front of me across the street. From Heroes Square, it's just a short walk over a lovely bridge, and you're in the park. Every great city has great parks, and that's certainly true of Budapest, which has many of them. And this park should be on your list of places to spend some time if you come here. It's home to 2 great museums, the zoo and botanical gardens, and a spectacular castle that's a copy of Corvin Castle in Romania. And like the old Metro Line 1, as well as the Millennium Monument, it was built as part of the Millennium Celebration of Hungary in 1896. It's in the middle of the city, but it's 300 plus sprawling acres of just trees, serenity, in addition to the institutions that reside in this park. Believe it or not, this beautiful lake in front of the castle is a year-round attraction. That might seem a little odd to say, given the fact that winters in Budapest can be very cold. But when the lake freezes over, it becomes one big ice skating rink with a castle as a backdrop.
Budapest is a city of marvelous old thermal bathhouses, including the Széchenyi bath next to the park. Another stark reminder of Hungary's treacherous politics in the modern era is this building, the so-called House of Terror. It's now a museum, but it was once the infamous headquarters of the fascist political party that during World War II used it as a torture chamber against Jews and other perceived enemies. After the war, when the country fell under the Soviet sphere, it became headquarters of the secret police. Nothing much changed, except the perpetrators were communists instead of fascists.
As you come up on this building, it really stands out. It's made to stand out by an architectural addition after it became a museum. That is a metallic encasement that has the effect of framing the building, which sits on a very prominent corner so that it seems as if it's set apart, which it is, both architecturally now and in the stream of time, as something to be observed from a bygone era.
As the sun fades, I've headed to an area that visitors to Budapest should try not to miss. After many years of neglect, this unlikely neighborhood has become a center of nightlife in the once bombed-out, abandoned buildings of the city's former Jewish quarter. In so doing, it's given rise to a phenomenon known as the Ruin Bar, cheap places to drink, eat, and party. And as it turns out, a place where social class, politics, age differences, and other common divides appear not to matter much at all.
Well, I've turned onto Kaczynski Street, which is leads us to the heart of the Ruin Bars in a neighborhood that long after World War II was a ghetto still, abandoned, full of dilapidated buildings, and yet already passing small restaurants, vintage clothing stores, and a variety of other shops that are typical of this street and this neighborhood since its rejuvenation. Well, where there's plenty of bars, there's plenty of street food. And I just turned into a little alcove, which is nothing but food trucks dressed up, not to look like food trucks, but that's what they are. And they're serving all manner of food, including just passed some Mexican, and I see some people walking around with Middle Eastern in hand. So it's a little international look here. All of it looks good. There are any number of ruin bars in Budapest, and quite a few in the old Jewish district. But I'm in the granddaddy of them all, so to speak, Zimpelkert, which opened in the neighborhood in 2002, a few blocks away from its current location, on the site of an old stove factory that had been slated for demolition. And it started something that soon took Budapest by storm and spread as a kind of cultural phenomenon. The idea of making an entertainment district out of back alley places, abandoned places. In this case, the old Jewish ghetto. I'm here on a Monday evening, and it's early yet, but I think you can see this is a very popular place. It's really a series of bars and food stalls or food areas, each individualized, as if you could collect any one of them and put them in a storefront along a street. You would have a block or maybe 2 blocks full of drinking and eating establishments. And yet this place is all under one roof. And of course, the beauty of it all is that despite it being huge, it loses none of its intimacy. This is more than just being in a building. It's like being in a ruin of a building that has been put back together, so to speak, in a very exquisite way. It's open, it's airy, it's intimate, it has a large capacity, it's all of those things, and yet there's a sort of street quality about it. To be clear, this is a bar, but it's really much more than a bar. It's evolved to become a community center. People come here for movie showings and live music performances. There's an art gallery, a library, and even a farmer's market that shows up here a few times a week. One would never really guess about the devastation of this place and the neglect that occurred here for decades. It's worth taking a look.